what's going on, guys? It's Lauren. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today, I want to go ahead and look at a comparison of two really popular stroller wagons right now. I'm going to be looking at the Keenz 7S stroller wagon and the WonderFold W2 stroller wagon. Now, these are both two-seater wagons. They both feature two 5-point harnesses in either wagon. The weight limit on the Keenz stroller wagon is 110 pounds, whereas on the WonderFold it is 200 pounds. So something to consider as far as lifespan goes when you're purchasing a wagon. Now first off, I want to look at the frames of both of these wagons. For the Keenz wagon, you will notice that it is a shorter wagon interior itself. The frame is slightly wider and it's much shorter. It's also a couple of inches at most longer. With the WonderFold wagon, you're looking at a slightly narrower frame, a little shorter, not much, but it is much taller. These are the biggest differences when it comes to the frames of these wagons. Also, when you're looking at handlebars, now the Keenz 7S stroller wagon features two adjustable handlebars. They are leather wrapped, and this is going to allow you to push or pull your stroller wagon. Now, with the WonderFold, it does feature one fully adjustable handlebar. However, I was nervous that I was going to miss that second handlebar when it came to the WonderFold, but it's not the case. Why? Because that frame is taller. So if for whatever reason I need to pull my wagon, I can just grab the frame. It's a very sturdy steel frame, and just pull it wherever I need to through a doorway or whatnot, and I have no problem. So I'm not missing it from that standpoint. Now that handlebar is also, it's a foam handlebar, and it comes with a stretchy nylon zippered handlebar cover, which is nice because you can take it off, you can throw it in the wash if it gets dirty. You're not having to worry about sweaty hands or anything with that one. So it's nice from a functionality standpoint there. Now, let's take a look at folding and unfolding both of these wagons. Now, for the Keenz, you will see that all you do with the Keenz wagon is the inside of the frame features a little pull strap. All you're gonna do, make sure your brake is disengaged. You're gonna pull up that pull strap, push the sides of your wagons together, and you're going to fasten the buckle at the top of the wagon. Whereas with the WonderFold, you will come over to the wagon, you're gonna take your side pockets and you're gonna fold them in, and there's a little pull lever on the side of the wagon, as you'll notice. You're gonna pull up the handles kind of the frame on the middle portion of the wagon, pull that up, and then to secure the WonderFold, there is a strap right here at the bottom of the frame that you're going to secure. And that's a main difference, because the Keenz, it's at the top, the WonderFold, it's at the bottom. Now that's something to consider if you're folding and unfolding your wagon a lot, because for me, I prefer the WonderFold because that strap is at the bottom. So if I'm pulling my wagon up into the back of my car for travel, I know that the bottom of the wagon is going to stay collapsed, whereas with the Keenz, it would kind of accordion open on me, and I would have the trouble of trying to, lug it up into the back of into my trunk. So something that's definitely worth mentioning. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of both of these wagons. We'll start with the Keenz. The Keenz, like I said, you will notice that they have two 5-point harnesses. Both have 3 different height adjustments, so you can adjust them based on the height of your riders or your kiddos. You will see that on the top portion of the frame, there is also a little buckle strap. That's how you are going to secure the wagon closed when you're folding it. In the middle of the wagon there, that little pull strap is also how you are going to fold up that wagon, okay? When it comes to the WonderFold W2 wagon, lots more to cover with this sucker. So with the inside, you will see, again, it is a much deeper frame. It features mesh sides, so you're getting more airflow, breathability within the wagon itself. And the best part about this wagon, in my opinion, is the seats that it comes with. I will show you guys those seats here in just a second, but mentioning still the inside frame of the wagon, I will want to point out that you'll see the buckles on the top of the frame. That's where the seats are going to connect. And also, on the front side of the wagon, you're gonna see that there is a zipper. Now that is a door for your kids to get in and out of the wagon. I will note the zipper is only accessible from the outside of the wagon, so you don't have to worry about little escape artist climbing out on you when you're out and about, which is really smart in my opinion. So, talking about the wagon itself again and that inside compartment. One of the best parts is that it is so deep. It is basically a pack and play on wheels. It's a playpen on wheels, so you can treat it as such. If you have an infant or a baby, you can put them in there as a little playpen, throw in some toys in there with them, or let them nap in the bottom safely because of those durable mesh sides, which is really nice. It also has if you can see the base down there, that is actually a base that pops out. It's padded. You can take off the cover and wash it, which is also very nice. But again, it's adding some stability, it's adding safety, and it's adding padding for your riders. That also being said, since that frame is deep, it is going to allow the kids in the wagon to stand safely. Now, since you've got that higher frame, it's going to hit them at a higher point on their bodies, so they can stand and move around within the wagon, so it's much less confining, which is really, really nice. It's versatile. It's more practical for families with kids of all ages. So you can use it from infancy stage all the way up to toddler, even, you know, elementary school style, even older, depending on the size of your kids, because especially of the weight limit of these wagons. Now, let's take a look at those seats. All right, these seats are really a game changer when it comes to the WonderFold. You are going to get 2 fully removable seats. They clip right onto the frame. They do feature 2 5-point harnesses, 3 height adjustments. You can convert them into a 3-point harness for kids who just want a waist strap. Also, WonderFold does recommend that you have them facing each other inside the wagon because there is that buckle on the outside of the frame to buckle them to it to make it a little safer. However, they're removable, so you can configure them in any way that you want. You can use both seats, you can use one seat, you can have them facing each other, facing away from each other, tandem style towards you, tandem style away from you. Use one seat towards you, closest to the wagon, or furthest for the wagon. Literally, you can use them in any way that you want, depending on the size of your family, the age of your kiddos. It's very versatile, and that alone, I think, is a huge selling point for the WonderFold. Now, those seats, what those seats are also going to allow, they're going to allow your riders to sit higher up in that wagon. Now, it is a deeper wagon, but since those seats clip right onto the top of the frame, they're sitting higher up. You don't have to worry about the frame being narrower on this one because they're going to hit the frame, the top of the frame, at arm's height, so it's going to be comfortable to almost use the wagon as armrests. So in that respect, my kids feel a lot less confined in the WonderFold, and they have the opportunity to interact with our family more or their surroundings more and just feel more a part of what's going on around them, which I love. Also, we got away from the kicking issue with the seats in the WonderFold because both of my girls, my twins, they have their own spot in the WonderFold. There's about, when the seats are in place, there's about a foot, I would say, between the two seats for leg room for riders in those seats, which means they can sit freely, have their own space, not feel confined, and not worried about kicking the kiddo across from them. Also, you're going to have the storage underneath those seats. You can store coats, toys, bags, groceries, medical equipment, whatever you may need to want to keep with you. Keep it safe, not worried about it getting tossed out of the wagon or damaged in any way. It's got its own space tucked away, and your kids can still sit comfortably. You can't do that in the Keenz because since it's one ginormous space, anything you put in the wagon is going to be in the way of the kids, and it's going to take away from the room that they have to sit comfortably. So it's a big thing to mention when you're looking at the WonderFold because it's going to give you a lot more storage, a lot more room overall, and your kids are going to sit better for you typically, and they're just going to be happier because they have more of their own space within the WonderFold. So something to point out. Let's talk about brake systems on both of the wagons. When you're looking at the Keenz, this is something I really don't like about the Keenz wagon. The brake system, the brake pedal, it's further underneath. It's more recessed under the wagon itself, so it's kind of harder to find. You're kind of feeling around down there for the brake when you're trying to engage or disengage it. And the pedal itself, it's a little maroon pedal, and it's not very wide. It's also pretty flimsy. So when I'm trying to lock the brake and keep my kids safe, I struggle a bit, and it's really frustrating. You never know if you really fully have it engaged because it doesn't really stick very well. Also, when my kids are in the wagon, if they're wobbling a little bit at all, which they're 2-year-olds, of course they're wobbling, I will notice a lot of times that wagon, the brake comes disengaged on its own, which is a huge safety issue for me. I want to make sure that if I lock my stroller, that it's going to stay put and keep my kids safe. It's really not the case with the Keenz wagon, and I don't like it. It's a really big deal. Whereas on the WonderFold, the brake system, it's more pronounced, but not too much to where you're kicking it when you're pushing your wagon, but it's a nice, big, sturdy, one-piece brake. You've got a nice, big, sturdy, thick piece of black plastic that is going to act as your foot pedal that you can easily see and push it down, and you can feel it and hear it engage. So I know every time that my kids are going to be safe. When you engage that brake, it is going nowhere on the WonderFold. Every single time. I have never had a problem. I lock it, it stays put. I know my kids are safe, and for that almost alone, I would prefer the WonderFold. So a huge thing to mention when it comes to safety and the brake systems of both wagons. All right, let's look at the canopy systems of both of these wagons. As far as the Keenz goes, the poles of the canopy itself are built into the frame of the wagon. And then you also just have a collapsible, foldable roof frame with the fabric that comes with a canopy bag with the Keenz wagon. Now, I like the idea of the Keenz canopy. However, there are some drawbacks to it. So for the frame itself, when you are engaging the poles, it's nice that it's built right in. However, they're not very sturdy, and my kids figured out that it's just a little slide push button and could disengage it on their own, and then we're basically playing a game of parachute when we're out in public because the thing's falling on top of my kids and then they're freaking out. So don't like it for those reasons. It's not very kid friendly, so to speak. It's also a pain to put on and take off. You're really kind of getting in the way of your kids. So for me, even though it comes with the canopy bag, I would typically only just keep the canopy in the back of my van, and when we're going somewhere that I know we're gonna need it, I just put it on right away when we get out of the car, and I don't take it off until we get back to the car, because it's really, as you can see, it's really kind of annoying and it's awkward. You pull up the poles, you will find the connector pieces on the cross frame of the roof itself, line those up, pull your fabric taut, and then you're good to go. A couple of things to mention here is it does feature a zipper on the top of that fabric with a little mesh layer, so you could let in a little bit of sun and air for your kiddos, which is nice. Also features sunshades on both sides of the canopy. They roll down and they roll back up and they stay right within the fabric. That's really nice because it's going to give you more privacy or more shade for the kids in the wagon. So I do really like that. As far as the WonderFold goes, didn't think I was going to like it as much, but I actually really do. It's a very simplistic design, which is convenient because it's easy to use. All it is it features two C-shaped metal poles with a fabric panel connecting the two. It stays right in your wagon all the time. There are two little pockets on the driver's side of the wagon where it fits in nicely. And when you want to use the canopy, just like this, you just fit it in the slots on the frame itself, and you're good to go. That's it. It's easy to put on. It's easy to take off. The poles do fit snugly, I will say. So you know that it is going to stay put when it is on the wagon. My kids, I have baby Hulks, and my kids cannot take that canopy out, which I really appreciate. Also, the fabric on that canopy is UV protected, so you don't have to worry about the rays getting to your kids when it is blocking the sun. That being said, it is slidable, as you will see. It is a slidable piece of fabric, slidable canopy, so you can direct it to wherever the sun is beating in on the wagon and to make sure you've got enough shade. Some people will argue it's not enough shade. What you can do, if that's the case for you, you can contact WonderFold's customer service team and purchase a second fabric piece. So then you've got twice as much shade and slidability to solve that problem right away for you. So overall, I would say that I do actually prefer the canopy design of the WonderFold wagon more, but I do like the built-in sunshades on the Keenz. So that one's a little bit of a toss-up for me. All right, storage. When it comes to storage on both of these wagons, starting with the Keenz on the front of the wagon features a open basket with a structured frame on the top of the basket itself. It is a nice catch-all basket. It's a great size. It's almost the entire width of the frame of the wagon itself. However, something to point out, while it's really convenient, say if you're out shopping and you want to just throw stuff in instead of using a shopping cart or a basket, you can do that. But for an everyday use, I didn't find it as practical because I wasn't comfortable putting either my diaper bag or my purse or any valuable belongings on that in the basket, because it's on the opposite side of you when you're pushing the wagon. So it was also kind of inconvenient. Say my phone rang or I needed my wallet, I'd have to go all the way around to the other side of the wagon and get that, park it, and it doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you do it all the time, it became a little bit of a nuisance. Now, on the front side of the WonderFold wagon, you have a nice size Velcro pocket. That's where I will typically store like diapers and wipes, so I make sure I always have them with me. Now, when it comes to the sides of the wagons, now on either side of the Keenz wagon, it's good to note there is no storage. It's just the frame and the fabric. And since the frame itself is kind of hidden by the fabric and it's that cross design, you can't really hang anything there if you want to buy additional accessories for storage, which makes it a little tricky. Now, on the WonderFold, it features two small little pockets where you can just kind of throw odds and ends stuff. I'll usually put like a little pack of Kleenexes or a hand sanitizer or sunglasses, just kind of random stuff that I'll know I want with us, but I don't always need and I don't need readily accessible right near me. But it's really nice. And as a mom, you can never have too much storage because I feel like I'm constantly bringing more and more with me every time I'm out. So I do love that both sides of the WonderFold wagon have those pockets, and there are little magnets on the inside of those pockets, so it literally will catch right onto the metal frame, which is yet again another really smart thing WonderFold has thought of. So you're not having to worry about if those pockets are empty, that you don't have the weight of something in there weighting them down. You have the magnet that's going to keep them in place, and so you're not having to worry about them kind of flapping in the wind or, you know, coming up on you and making noise. It's no big deal. They will stay put. As far as the back of the wagon, which is where the driver is typically pushing the wagon, on the Keenz, there are 3 little storage pockets you will see. The far right-hand side, you're going to see a little cup holder where you can throw a water bottle or a bottle or whatever it is. The middle pocket is a little zipper pocket with a little zipper on the front where you could put odds and ends things, and the left side pocket is a Velcro pocket. Now, that's where I would typically throw the diapers and wipes and whatnot, but as far as the other 2 pockets go, I didn't find them overly functional because they were such an awkward size that bigger things, like you couldn't put a purse in there or anything. It was just more so kind of random stuff. Like my husband could put his wallet or his phone in there, but for me with a purse or a diaper bag, I ended up having to get a stroller hook anyways, and I kept most of the things in there. So those 3 pockets ended up pretty much becoming obsolete for me, which is a little bit of a downfall. Whereas on the WonderFold wagon, there is a nice big pocket on the side of the wagon where you're driving, the driver's side, that does span the entire width of the wagon, and it's got a little bit of structure to it, so it's not completely kind of falling down towards you or you're hitting it when you're walking or anything. It's got a little bit of structure to it, and I find that as a great spot as kind of my catch-all where I can tuck a little purse in there, or if we're out and about and I want a place for my jacket when it's cold out, I can toss it right in there, or if we're grabbing a couple of things from the store, I can toss it in there. It's just a good size. It's an overall nice size where you can just kind of throw whatever you need to in a pinch in that little spot, and to me, that's a win-win. So when it comes to the storage, check the box again for WonderFold. They take the win for me there. Okay, a good thing to note is about both of these wagons, the fabric of both wagons themselves. They are both removable, which is really nice if you're worried about spills or you want to be able to clean it. However, the Keenz wagon is a little trickier to take off because all of the buckles are built in directly to the fabric of that wagon. So you do have to take out all of the straps, all of the buckles, and unbuckle the fabric on the side of the frame itself to remove it. But it is doable. Whereas on the WonderFold W2, this frame, the fabric actually is only held on by 12 heavy-duty snaps onto the frame itself. So for removing the fabric, you just have to undo the snaps and it pops right off, which is really nice. As far as the base piece that gives some stability and structure to the wagon, that actually Velcros off as well, and you can wash it too, which is very, very nice because let's face it, our kids make messes. They're born to be dirty, so being able to easily clean your fabric is going to really come in handy, okay? All right, you guys, there you have it. There is your in-depth look at the Keenz 7S stroller wagon and the WonderFold W2 stroller wagon. Hopefully that was enough detail so now you and your family can decide which stroller wagon is right for you. Any more questions, any comments, please leave them below. I will get back to them right away. Now, if you have decided that the WonderFold is the way to go, I will go ahead and drop a little promo code down below for you to use at checkout to save on any wagon purchase at WonderFoldWagon.com. And if you would please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. It helps me out so much. And this is where I cover all things stroller wagons, kiddos, mom hacks, recipes, favorite must-have products, all the things you can think of, all of the time. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. See what I did there? Yeah, it's pretty good. Thanks, guys.